So we just interviewed Katie Hopkins. Why did we interview Katie Hopkins? Why did we do that?
I don't know. You said, like, you're the one who said, let's go do Katie Hopkins, let's interview her. I thought, I had no idea why we did this.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it now. Like, so, you know what? So what was really interesting was when you told me we're going to see Katie Hopkins. I was like, what? This is just nonsense. Like, there's nothing metaphysical really about it. That's not what she's. But what I realized is after going to see her, I think I understand why. Like, I think I understand why we did it. Like, obviously nobody else will.
You don't care to tell us why we did it. You're not going to tell me why we did it. Have I got to figure it out myself?
I think you meant to intuit it.
Oh, it's intuition. Oh. Well, I was shocked at how nice she was. I think people have painted her out to be a monster.
Yeah,
but I think there's like a lot more layers there than I think we were expecting.
Well, I think that maybe even though we were quite like nice with her, there still her views, and she says some views which a little bit they're quite intolerant. But mostly speaking, she was just like this really kind. She was a loving energy as well.
Yeah. I think it really high energy.
I think mostly what was intriguing about her is just that she's got this huge image beyond her, which she's sculpted.
Yeah, but she's no longer in control of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing that she's no longer in control of, and we didn't really know that.
Yeah, and we were maybe expecting to meet that image, but what we got was like this real person that is so much more than like a single-faceted person, right?
Yeah, and I think
the image rather.
Yeah, and I think that was. I think that was interesting, and it's also good for the way that I think that did happen because we gave us some space to.
Yeah, well, we didn't really challenge any of her views or anything. We just wanted her to speak, and just to see what came out. Really, right? It's quite interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's quite clear that we didn't really agree with anything that she was saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, at some points we did because based on like truth and stuff.
Oh yeah, and also her views on death. I thought they were quite. Yeah, definitely resonated.
She doesn't actually. I mean, we thought she was very adamant on her perspectives, but she's not.
Yeah, she's very ready to flip, right?
She's clear about how she feels about things, but she's not. She doesn't believe that everybody should feel that way.
Yeah,
and I think that's actually a surprisingly humble perspective for somebody who has a very convicted message.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe it's just because people don't allow her to exist in a space where she can have different opinions. Maybe she feels she can only portray one message.
Yeah. And I think what's the thing is that she's kind of, like she even says it in the podcast that, you know, she kind of made her bed and now she has to lie in it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of her fault, but also it would be nice that if we could grant, as a society, we could grant people the ability to change, especially if we consider that their views and what they're doing is negative and intolerant and ignorant, then it would be nice that we could allow them the space to change that. Yeah, but I don't think shouting angry stuff gives that space.
But also, we don't live in a society at the moment that allows that. Like, even when people become successful, we look at their old Twitter messages or their old Facebook messages, and we look for a reason often to dislike them.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really give... I know we're all about growth and stuff, but I don't think if we're, as a society, we give people a chance to actually change.
Yeah. Having said that, her views haven't actually changed that much. but the way in which she wishes to disseminate them, I think, has. And the way that she sees herself.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and I think there's some really poignant stuff when she talks about her kids, and I think that's what shocked me as well. I didn't really realise that Katie Hopkins was
a person living.
Yeah, like a living, breathing mother.
She actually had a pulse.
Yeah, and also
I didn't feel her pulse. I felt her head.
Although she didn't feed us, so I think that's definitely something that we've got to take into consideration.
Well, she did. She had you. You didn't feed me.
What are you talking about?
She gave us digestives, and you kept them to yourself.
Yeah, that's true. But that's because there's only a limited number of digestives. I'm not going to share them out.
Yeah, and you're trying to tub up.
I'm trying to become obese. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, this is the podcast.
Yeah, have a listen. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then...
Yeah. And I'm sorry if it seems like we're supporting anything, but...
we're really not.
Yeah, we just want to be open, grant this with openness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
perfect.
What if you woke up one day and your phone was really colourful, but the world had changed to black and white?
Shit.
Okay, we've definitely got the right guess.
Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of nonsense we can vibe with.
Yeah,
exactly.
What would you do?
And then what would you do? So
Probably nothing.
you'd probably
Just live.
Yeah, you would just live.
You'd want to know if
You'd be
other
fascinated.
you'd want to know if other people saw it that way too. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
that's
so
the
the first
first
thing you
step.
do
Yeah.
is you'd ring each other and say, "Look out your window, mate," and then wait to see what he said.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think you would assume that it was a affliction of your eyes, not an affliction of the world.
Yeah.
You would
Yeah, but then
assume
you
that
wouldn't
they-
even call somebody. You would just go to the doctor. You'd be like, "Fuck it."
I would
And the
totally
doctor would
call
be like,
someone
"Yeah, me
first.
too."
I would
Yeah,
ring
yeah.
Mark and go, "Look out the window," and if you went, "Yeah, what?" I'd go, "Oh, it's me."
Yeah, but it would also be on BBC News, right? You would just turn on your phone and probably have all these notifications.
But your phone would be
saying,
bright. Your phone would be colourful.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
Oh, but tell the
Yeah, but
story.
if the
It still
tell
tells
the
the
story.
story. Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
would call.
colour-
Yeah.
I would
exactly.
call Shy up and he'll be saying, yeah, me too, and I'll be like, I don't believe it. Like this, that gives me no information.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably call someone more functioning. Right. Okay, let's start. Let's
Oh
do
yeah,
this.
sorry, forgot. We're definitely doing a podcast.
I don't know if I've used up all the.
Oh yes, you need to wipe your thingy.
Also, we've got a gong.
Good. What does it do?
We'll just hit it once. So
Do we do it for fun at any point?
I told him to come up with a
just hit
jingle.
it in the middle.
I told him to come up with a jingle, so he just hits this gong and then we start. Yeah.
Is that when you said to him, but you tasked him with a jingle,
Yeah, it was just like.
and then you were like, right, show me what you got.
And it
he
just-
just went,
yeah,
Fine.
exactly what happened.
Shay's been teaching me how to take the easiest route forward.
Yeah. Easy as
in life,
Yeah.
like a path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Is he navigating that well? Is he?
Well, none of us are that functioning in society.
The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So would you ever enter an argument just because you saw right from wrong and you felt like I need to step in there? Because that would be not the path of least resistance.
Well, we enter a lot of arguments just to present the other opinion. Don't actually care about the argument.
Right.
So that's why that's why this could be a really good podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
see,
no.
'Cause we're
There's an
happy to-
onus there that it might not be. You see.
Oh yeah, right.
You're really loading that. This could be.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know if you've listened to our other podcasts. The bar is not that high, so we're like ready to release anything that we come up with.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, we're going to really struggle with this.
are we ready?
Welcome to good evening, and welcome to Karl Marx Does the Washing Up.
Where we ponder ludicrous metaphysical nonsense in the time it takes to make 5 Tesco basic microwave meals.
Which is 21 minutes.
Yeah, I'm Shy Telly,
And I'm Ilyas and Shy.
and this evening we've got with us the most hated woman in England.
In Britain.
In Britain.
You just made that way smaller.
Oh, you're
in
like-
Britain. It's
in
like,
Britain?
Yeah, Wales and Scotland. Like I've been banned from schools in Wales. They
Whoa.
really hate me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry,
Well,
so
actually, and I'm furious because I don't know, I was running out of self-hatred, that's why we came here.
Yeah.
Find somebody to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
And you seem actually kind of nice, which is
Also, so sorry,
like,
this
wildly
is
disappointing.
This
I'm
is
a really disappointing monster.
we didn't actually say who she was though.
No, I think we did, Katie Hopkins. You did say that once. My name, definitely. Yeah, well, anyway, I am.
Anyway,
I am
repetition
her.
is the path to enlightenment.
Yeah. So you're Katie Hopkins,
I am her.
and you're banned in schools.
I'm banned in schools. Not in a sort of pedo way.
Yeah, because I was going to say like
Super
the
clarity.
But also not in a pedo way.
because
But
also
not in a pedo. No one specifically said you're not banned for being a pedo. So all of Wales said no, because kids asked me to come and speak at their schools, and I said, okay, great, you get a venue, ask your headmaster, and I'll come. And so we had it all set up, a schools tour, and the Welsh Government found out and then threatened to pull funding if any of the schools proceeded with the schools tour. So I was banned from schools, and then Scotland joined in too, and their education minister banned me as well.
okay, but why do you think they did that? Why
Because
do you
they need
think
to protect the young people from my dangerous views.
But is it
And
your
it-
views or your wild card behaviour?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really like the Welsh that much anyway. Actually, so it got me out of a sticky wicket.
Okay, but wait, so what do you think makes your views so dangerous? Do you think your views are true? Like, what is truth?
Oh, the truth thing. Yes.
Yeah.
The truth thing.
Wait,
that
we've
will
got
settle down.
we've got a quote from
Yeah,
your
so-
own email. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, your
Okay,
emails
let's
that
do
you're
this.
sending us. This
Here we
is,
go.
This is from
this is
George
you slickly
Yeah,
finding
this
the quote.
Yeah. It says, I think we need another gonging.
Yeah, exactly. We need to recenter ourselves.
The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. That's what George Orwell said at some point in time.
At some point, yeah. So I think truth has become completely lost. Like, I think none of us have any idea what truth is anymore. And I think that's because any media outlet you go to, that's their version of the truth. And then if you go to a different outlet, there will be a different version of that. And I think the reason I believe that is that even people in the street, even regular people that live in the places that I kind of live, which is way in the middle of nowhere, have started to realise that depending on which outlet you listen to, you'll get a different version. So I think people have woken up to this idea that what is truth anymore?
Okay. So you don't think it... But do you think there is a truth that exists, it's just nobody's giving it to us?
Yeah.
Or
is it impossible to have a truth nowadays?
I think it's impossible to have a truth unless you were there in person and saw it with your own eyes. But even then, it's going to go through layers of your own filters, and you will have a truth from that might be different to someone else.
So what you're almost saying is that we shouldn't really trust anyone's views, including your views.
Yeah.
So then for the schools to then ban you...
We should be suspicious, or not suspicious, that's not
but
nice
you can't go to the school and just say, just an epistemological sort of provisor. Knowledge no longer exists because truth is not being disseminated from the correct channels. Also, fuck the Turks. Like, you can't
you can't.
You can't start
Although,
with that.
as a speech, that does sound mildly entertaining.
Yeah.
That is quite a line that I
and
might
also
take.
quite short.
And also fuck the Turks.
Yeah, fuck the Turks.
But I think...
I am Turkish.
But I
think maybe that's the problem is, like, maybe... I mean, the sense that I'm getting is that you see yourself more as a comedian than a truth.
I do find myself really funny, and that's unfortunate on a whole world of levels, especially when someone else is finding something really serious.
Yeah,
and I'm struggling to find the seriousness.
Yeah.
But I think in scientific terms, there's truth, right? For me, science is truth. So as for scientists tell me that this cell does this because of this, I'm going with that as truth. Maybe maybe I don't have the facility to challenge it.
Okay.
But also maybe I think scientists speak truth. Right?
Okay.
All the clever people are scientists. It's all good. But once you start messing with science, then I get really freaked out. So once you start telling me that there aren't just two genders and, sex is a sort of spectrum and all of that, and therefore trans people can compete in the Olympics, then I start to get freaked out. Because then I'm like, truth has taken a whole new level of deception. Yeah, that. So I don't buy into the idea that just because you decide you're a woman tomorrow, you are one.
But you also said earlier, mathematics is changing, right?
Math is totally changing.
But science is based on math.
Yeah, and science should be changing.
So everything,
science is definitely evolving, and maths is definitely evolving.
They can,
maybe for the better, actually.
So science can never really say any truth, because it's always being disproven.
Everything just gets proven and disproven.
Maybe science creates its own lies. So if you have a dude in China gene editing babies before they're born, what truth is that baby? It's already a lie because it's been tampered with before it even got the chance to be born. So where's truth in science? I don't know.
Does it have to be in China?
Can it be here? It could be in Exeter, but I think the guy was actually in China. But if I went to school, it would only be my truth that I'm presenting. Yeah, and actually, I was trying to get into schools to tell the kids, be wary of looking for lots of different opinions. That was the talk.
Yeah, because would you have opened it with what you just said to us about how maybe there isn't truth anymore?
Yeah, that was the talk. And I even laid out the talk for the teachers to see because I knew there would be reassurance required. And it was about saying to kids, maybe this one story, example, is also look how someone else told that story. And that's all I was going to ask them to do, was look at stories, maybe from CNN, and then look at this one reported for Fox. Right, now let's work out which is right and which is wrong. And of course, I guess we would have ended up in a place where neither was right or wrong, because how can we know? Yeah.
But you think there is some story somewhere that is true, it's just there's no way of discerning it?
There's no way of discerning it, and then we've become so used to interpreting stuff, and then also we've become so used to becoming fond of people who interpret it for us. So people are particularly fond of, who's a presenter that you might like in life. Or
we only listen to our own podcast.
Yeah, we only listen to our own podcast.
So you only listen to yourselves.
Yeah.
So you're big fans of yourselves.
Yeah,
so that's also good. But let's say someone really liked Zoe Ball. Let's just find someone that liked her. And maybe, we would struggle. But if we found someone that liked Zoe Ball as a replacement, then maybe if she was their favourite presenter, they would always see through her lens. That's all I mean. And so I got to this point where I ended up in places like Molenbeek, when I'm there doing the jihadi capital of Europe, where I'm just getting my camera, whoever it is, and just showing people, without even talking, just showing them the market in Molenbeek and saying, guess what country this is? because it's basically Morocco. So, and in a way, that's been really interesting for me. Is not even speaking, just showing people stuff so that they're seeing it for themselves. Because then, how many layers of diversion are on that?
Yeah.
The camera lens is a diversion.
Yeah, but similar to Zoe Ball, the only people watching it, the people that like the news that you are bringing.
Yeah.
Like through your lens. It's literally just through your lens as well. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think there's definitely this idea that, charisma kind of like alludes to truth in some way.
Yeah.
It's like, but there's no, just because somebody charismatic is saying something doesn't mean it should be more believable.
Yeah.
But of course it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
A bit like in a more old-fashioned sense, believability came with uniforms. So, at school it was uniforms, or I had nuns that taught me. Problematic in itself. Or if you have a police person, they're in a uniform for a
more
reason.
trusting.
There's the trustworthiness.
Yeah.
But of course, then when you started to hear stuff coming out of people's faces, now this is obviously my opinion stuff, which is after a terror attack, it pisses me off when the police come out and say, we now need to be cautious about Islamophobia. So that's someone in a uniform whom I'm supposed to trust telling me the truth, now telling me to be cautious about Islamophobia from the far right. Actually, I'm just a bit pissed off that someone just blew up someone on a bridge. Let me be pissed off. Don't start telling me I need to be worrying about Islamophobia. So all I mean is uniforms used to say something about law and order, and now uniforms have even moved into an opinion. Like you're no one these days if you're a police officer and you haven't got an LGBT rainbow-coloured car. Or dance in a pride parade. Or...
But then surely, like, if your idea about, like, truth not really being existing, then there should be nobody in charge of that. Like, there should be no authority. The police shouldn't have.
But eventually, don't you think we need don't you think all society, like in the way we used to, or I maybe historically or nostalgically reflect on police, don't you think society looks for a voice of authority? That's why we have government, no? Or something. Yeah. I mean, Christ knows, I can't stand politicians right now, but don't you think in life we look for, like, who's your voice of authority? Is it...
Right. Yeah, right. Ilyas, but
I knew that answer.
Exactly.
I would just ask each other.
Yeah. No, but I think that's the thing. Like, so but it's the issue. There's so many information sources now that everything's so disseminated that you don't need a voice of authority anymore. Or are we just privileged enough to not listen to a voice of authority?
I think it's also there's people who maybe like myself who say, listen, this is my view, and you don't need to agree with it.
Are you okay with people not agreeing with your view?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, always. Not agreeing with my view is perfect.
Because I don't think we agree with you.
We definitely don't agree with anything
that
you said that we knew before we came here. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the next.
Let's just to say we don't agree with anything anyone said, or you don't agree with anything I've ever said, or whatever.
And you don't agree with anything that we say.
Yeah, let's still be in conversation.
Exactly.
So that was a key point for me, is trying to get that point of, but look, we can still chat. This is still fine, and no one's feeling upset. And then the other thing I tried to get to is this idea of we don't have to like someone to agree with them. So people get pissed off with me on Twitter when they go, oh, I hate Katie Hopkins, but, and they use two names, I don't know why, I'm just called Katie. Anyway, Katie Hopkins, I have two names, it's weird.
Even I introduced you as Katie Hopkins.
Yeah,
but I mean, I can't fit my ego into one name.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, I would refuse to be called anything other than
and actually, I would never...
Yeah. Your name's very good when you say it like that.
Yeah.
I wish I could say it like that. So, I hate Katie Hopkins, but very good. Say it again.
Ilyas and Ali Kassan.
That's sort of hot.
Just add some random words in the middle. Add some.
Whatever you did.
It's good.
I would love that name, especially if you were filling in, asking someone to be. What's your email address? Maybe you don't want to give it out on here. Is it all of that and then at hotmail.com?
No, it's just.
We're a bit too famous for that.
Yeah, we can't handle the fan mail. Yeah.
I'm thinking if you were filling an online form or you're on the phone explaining it, and then they were asking for your name, and you gave them that.
Yeah, I can't be giving my email. When you get to our level of fame, you will.
You'll understand it. Yeah.
Start to understand.
It's why we came to Exeter, to get away from the
phone. Just have a little break.
Just have a little break from the phone.
It's like a wall of noise when you open your curtains. Do you even have? I guess you don't open your own curtains anymore either. Do you have someone to?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, it's electric, but I have somebody to operate.
Yeah.
And what about, you even still make your own noise on your gommy thing?
Yeah,
I got to stand to myself. I got to be rooted in some sort of reality.
You're right. We should have outsourced that to Katie.
We
should have got Katie to do that.
I'm wanting to go anyway.
So
that needs to happen.
No, but that's just lack of trust. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Just lack of worthiness.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, so the thing we were talking about prior to that.
Wait, what were we talking
Well, I'm going there.
Oh,
Basically,
okay.
I've still got it.
I'm glad someone's paying attention. Yeah,
I
okay.
really am. Is that you don't have to be liked, yes, to agree. So people say, I hate her, but I really agree with her here. And that kind of frustrates me because I want to go, I never asked you to like me. I never asked you to agree with me either. So you don't need to signal to your mates that you can't stand me prior to saying she's got a point here.
But I think that's a way of saying I don't agree with the majority of what she says.
I don't. I mean, yes, of course. I'm sure they don't agree with shit all I say. And I'm very happy that I think what it is a weakness in that person. They're scared of what their mates will say. They know that their mates might leave them if they say, I agree with Katie. And so they're signalling in a big way.
Yeah.
I'm still with you guys. I still hate that biatch, but actually she's got a point here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm scared, like, in this podcast.
That we might lose listeners,
You might lose listeners.
Or it's not even losing listeners. I don't want to be like that person who, like, is like, likes Katie Hopkins.
That's really real. That's so how it is there. So that's why the numbers that follow and tweet stuff and watch stuff are bizarrely, in the millions. And you know that most of them can't be honest about that because they'll be told by their mates it's not acceptable. You might lose listeners by doing this podcast. I hope you don't, but it's really possible that you will.
No, but I think I really wanted to know what you thought about truth, and I think you kind of said a lot of stuff that we do agree with regards to truth.
Yeah, I think
almost it doesn't exist, but only subject. Well, maybe there's no objective truth.
I wish we could have it
in society.
If there was a news station, right? Do you ever watch TV? Do young people watch TV?
We literally just listen to our podcast. We just listen to our podcast.
And just look in the mirror. Like those two items, those two activities alone. Okay.
No, everything's mirrors.
Just go nostalgia. And remember the days of the TV, right?
Yeah.
So people like myself watch TV, and you choose on the news. You have BBC One News, you have ITV News, or Channel 4 News. Of course, I watch Channel 4 just to be annoyed. Imagine if there was a news channel you could go to, and it was just the truth. Like if it was the truth.
That's church.
Yeah, or the mosque, or the temple.
Or the mosque.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Actually,
that church?
but almost what we're saying is that there is no truth.
Sort of
I
joking,
quite like that.
but it is true. It is. Like, I think that's what truth is, really.
Religion is where people find truth.
Yeah.
But maybe there's no truth in religion. But maybe,
I mean, for me,
is there truth? Like, that's the thing.
I think we've said this a lot in the podcast, but like, for me, the idea of what, like, I don't really believe in a sort of assertable truth, like on any existential or real-based level, but I believe that this is truth. Like, just life as it is truth.
As it is happening, is this is the truth.
Yeah. And for me, that is quite a religious idea, or it's quite a, like, it's spiritual. And I would, if I'm starting to talk about it in an untrue narrative, I would use words like God.
Yes.
Right?
But it's also about being mindful and stuff. Because you're almost saying that we can't agree with one thing that you said now without agreeing with everything that you've ever said.
No. I'm absolutely saying...
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think what we're all saying here is you're a shit listener. I think that's what that summary was. But... no, that you can agree with one thing.
I'm joking.
You can agree with one thing, but you definitely don't have to...
So defensive about my listening ability.
I know.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're just not used to being got at. Hang out with me, we can practice.
He's been mollycoddled by me.
I know. You've basically just rubbed each other in oil every day for the last, decade. So I now need to slowly...
Yeah.
But that's because he's undoing things.
A little bit, that truth is actually just something that's real. So, this happening is real, so therefore it's the truth of the now.
Exactly.
Going to the shop and going to buy something from the lady at the till, and then us having a chit-chat about whatever. So there's a lady in the spa that had her hair cut off at a similar time to I did. She had cancer, I didn't. But the point rather being, no, it's not a funny point, but you two have got the giggles. But the point is that conversation is more the real thing. Do you know what I mean? Because it's someone else's real story that you're just chitty-chatting about in the spa.
Yeah, and it's not what's being said in the conversation that's real, it's the conversation itself.
Exactly.
And I suppose what I'm trying to say is media is so distorting.
Yeah.
Any levels of lens or layer or microphone or camera is in itself distorting, I think.
No, I agree, but your defense with the police thing, you were saying we're all looking for truth.
Exactly.
But just because you're looking for something,
it doesn't mean that we should truth.
We should give non-worthy people the authority to provide it.
Totally agree. And then this is where I would come to schools, is So on the police example, I used to be a security guard at Disneyland, right?
What?
And in the morning...
Who?
Yeah, this is just random job.
Yeah.
I was at college, like it wasn't like an aspirational career choice. But in the morning you
Also,
went...
policing Disneyland is just funny.
Yeah. Also,
So many
Disneyland
paedophiles.
Were you at school in Paris or something? Disneyland Paris?
Disneyland Paris. Yeah, I went there for a summer and then I went back for the winter. But so I was dressed as a security guard. I had a radio and a car and I would run about and be dramatic and I loved it. It was brilliant. But it's that way that the uniform gave you that
like power and trust, right?
Huge power.
Yeah.
Bizarre levels of power just by putting on a uniform. But the point I was trying to get to was we look for these voices of authority and for children, that's usually their teacher. And what rages in me is that teachers are so left-wing, we're bringing up a whole generation to think that truth is coming out the mouth of the person at the front of the classroom. And their views are opposite to mine. I don't have the truth, but who said that that's the truth?
But it's quite ironic you're like so anti-homeschooling though.
Oh, well, only because like socially that's really weird.
But no, but like parents...
And homeschool kids are really pale.
Yeah, but
the same thing can go for the parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
we're listening to our father who could be
Yeah.
very left-wing or very right-wing.
Whatever
of course,
the case.
yeah, totally.
Like you're being given truth by...
And
Yeah.
the homeschooling movement is massive right now, and in America, absolutely, because people are getting them out of the school system.
But
I do get the homeschool thing.
But also we are, like you said, we're listening to the teacher at the front of the class. We are
Yes.
also listening to our parents
Yeah.
every day.
We always have a narrow sort of influence of...
But what if the teachers at the front of the class are all quite narrow in their way of thinking? What if they're all quite narrow in their left-wing ideology? In my experience,
Do you consider yourself right-wing?
Yeah, I have. I must
but then
be
that's
right-wing,
just
but
as,
I
that's
would
just as
reject,
bad,
like,
right?
far right.
I mean, any kind of
Ideology,
any
right?
wing or any ideology. is just-
Any kind of
not
ideology,
that one's
right?
better than the other, not at all. But just like it would be great if there was like one of each, or like occasionally a right winger and a left winger, wouldn't it? Like as opposed to all being massively left wing.
Okay. What about some like
I guess
wanker
I
like
think
us
it
who's
is-
like
Would that be
democratization of
perfect?
knowledge?
Yeah. Who doesn't believe in anything?
I would happily bring my kids in and just let them listen to you too.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I think it's a perfect
We're
idea.
banned from schools also. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
banned.
Also, we hate the idea of being sort of
Speakers.
no. Just like what's the word? Advocate guaranteed by Katie Hopkins.
Yeah.
What is that going to do for our CV?
Yeah,
Your
okay.
credibility, you're bugging.
Yeah,
okay, what will you do if you put this podcast out, let's just say, and then you get like how do people get in touch with you? Obviously, you're too famous for email. Like, are you on like Instagram?
Yeah, we're on
Like,
Instagram.
What do young people do? Instagram. So what happens when people come to you and say, "Well, that's it. I'm not following you anymore because you spoke to her."
Yeah, but then that's also fine because we don't want our listeners not to be open. Like I think,
I think our
someone
basis is that we're a podcast that explores different ways of thinking or different ideologies.
And you definitely have a different way of thinking to most people, so we
and
wanted
especially to
explore
us
that.
and the people that we spend time with.
Yeah.
And we find that it doesn't mean we have to agree with it. We can just explore it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and ultimately still say it's
be-
nonsense if
yeah.
we want
Yes.
to.
And be open to like, I think if somebody's nice to us, it doesn't matter how horrible their views are.
Yes.
We still got to, even if they're not nice to us, we want to come from a place of empathy.
Yeah.
Or of listening to what they've got to say.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to grow as well as people.
What if someone's unkind to you about talking to me and it's someone that you like?
Yeah, but then that's
There is a level of an emotion.
Then we maybe have a
there.
dialogue about it.
yeah.
Chat with
And I
them.
think also you do some of your views can have like quite negative impacts on people, or that's how people see it. And I think that's, for me, it's a very
Some
like
people.
it's a real thing to engage with.
Yeah.
And maybe for us, maybe a privileged perspective because we haven't actually experienced like hardship of certain what we would maybe consider negative views.
Yes.
We can live in this sort of privilege. thing
Yeah,
of,
where
like,
we
just
can
see it
hear
as an
negative
ideology.
views. Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
rather than something that's
you
actually
haven't
impacted
been
us.
physically massively hated.
No. Yeah, but also it's the fact that, if someone does like us, they can still not like this, but still like us. Because,
Yes.
yeah.
But how do you help people do that? I hear you, I get you, I totally hear what you're saying, and I'm sort of hoping that people can listen to you and hear the rationale whilst you're doing this. But how do you explain to people that you hope that they can just choose not to listen? How do you convey that?
Well, we could just edit you out, I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
We could just edit you out.
You could not play the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But my genuine question to you is, how do you convey to people that they could choose not to listen? Because it's exactly a parallel question for me. How do I convey to people who say, I'm going to come and chop your head off, you don't have to listen to me?
Yeah. Well, also, conversely, will
why
you
are you
lose...
talking?
Yeah. But also she'll lose followers by being interviewed by.
No,
you might lose some far right following if you're interviewed by brown people.
Oh, no. It's a nice idea, and I imagine I have probably got some followers on the far right, but most people follow me that probably think I'm a bit of a good egg. So they'll really like you guys. I like you. So really? I don't think that would work. But it's how do you convey to someone you don't have to listen? And that's
I think that's a really important thing.
Of our time, because otherwise, why do we need to censor people?
But I don't know.
Could you just choose not to listen? Why do you have to censor Tommy Robinson? Could you choose? I'm just picking a name, but could you choose just not to listen? Is all my question.
But I don't really see that as the issue. I don't see the issue as I think we should listen, but we should listen from an open place, an open heart. I think a lot of the time we find people to hate because it's maybe cathartic or
we don't know. Maybe we hate ourselves.
We got bored of hating ourselves or something.
Or it's more healthy to hate someone else.
It's more healthy to say.
Paint you to be a monster or something.
And I think so. For me, there's a lot of ideologies that are going around that might be governed in hate. And I think that's how you're perceived a lot. Yeah. But I don't think that the sort of antidote to that is hating somebody else, hating the person who who disseminates hate.
Yes. Yeah.
So I just don't understand a big banner in a protest saying Trump's a cunt, because maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I agree with anything Trump says, but if your issue with him is that he's behaving like a cunt and he's unempathetic and aggressive and discards humanity, then why are you treating him as subhuman?
Yes.
Yeah, but then there's anger, isn't there? I don't know if it's I think it all comes down to anger.
About needing to vent anger.
Yeah, if you hate someone, you need to display it.
I think it's the display of anger. So protest to me isn't about change or about affecting change, because I don't think that's truly what comes out of it. I think it's about the need to gather together and display shared anger. And I think many people find the display of shared anger cathartic and therapeutic. And I've seen that on both sides in terms of Leave and Remain, for example. When the Remainers did their last march, loads of them came away feeling really good that day because they were around so many other people who felt the same way as they did. And they felt really uplifted by that whole day. Actually, I really got that. I really got their whole uplifting thing. They were on different sides, but I got how they felt uplifted by being around people who think the same. And I think that happens on the right as well. It's why I have the following I have. It's because people feel slightly uplifted by someone saying stuff they feel like they can't say anymore.
But do you think that's...
Yeah. But also, are you willing to say that everything that you're saying might not be true?
It must be the case that everything I say might not be true. If I can look at other people's commentary and say, well, that's bollocks, just because it's opposite to mine, doesn't make theirs bollocks and mine true. It means that both of us have pretty much the equal chance of talking bollocks.
Yeah, but I think maybe we're existing in a world nowadays where people don't realise that Katie Hopkins thinks that her views could be bollocks.
Well, I mean, the thing is...
you think...
I think it's why when I do speeches in person, or meet anybody in person, people go, oh... Yeah. So it's just a different. I guess there's a different conversation about an image of yourself, which I have helped to create, versus who the real you is, or another you is. Yeah. And
you
I
also
have to
kind
be
of
responsible for that, don't I? I have to be partly accountable for this demon projection of myself. I've projected that.
But are you also
like that?
Yeah, but also you're not in control of it anymore.
No.
It's sort of it's gone. It's gone out of your control.
Yeah, way out of my control. The only thing I control now is the distance between the demonic projection of myself and the real me. And I do control that distance in the sense that I can make that acutely obvious to someone that distance is massive. And it does challenge people, because it's far easier if someone's saying stuff that you find hurtful or disagreeable with, or is against your people, whoever your people are. It's much easier if they're a monster saying it, because you can disregard a monster, same as you look to shoot down a bogeyman in the dark. If someone very reasonable, who looks a bit like a mum and is a bit of a geek and takes the piss out of themselves, says stuff that's offensive, it's way harder.
But then is it also kind of protective for you, because you can kind of, whenever somebody rebuttals you, you can associate it with the demon projection. Yourself.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
You're just
For sure. And for many, many years, I would say the first 10, 20 years, I don't know how long I've been around. I think I've lived a long time. But for that whole front person was definitely a mechanism of coping with lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was at 2, 3, well, probably many levels, but it was coping with the sheer volume of media and what that meant in terms of attacks and other things, and just coping with things being said that aren't true, or who knows what true is.
Exactly.
My truth. But also I was massively epileptic for like ever.
Yeah.
And so I had to front up in the morning for, like, when I was doing my own show, Katie Rules the World, you know, the night before I'm having big fits dislocating my arms. So you have to front up. There needed to be a bigger person than me. Okay. And now my epilepsy's... Oh, I could freak you out, actually. Now my epilepsy's cured. I guess I've pulled back a bit to this other me. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel like a truer...
But maybe that that thing that you created still kind of exists.
Oh, it's so
but
there.
you're not in control of it anymore, right?
Well, it's so there, but I also can rely on it sometimes. Like,
and you do need... And
you definitely profited from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Profited, but also personally, it's still there, and I can bring it if I need to. Like, so Exeter University the other day, massive protest, you know, teachers outside protesting, 50 university lecturers outside, socialists there, Antifa there. To get into that building takes a certain something that most people might not have, and you just have to bring it for a minute and be bigger than you are.
But is that the key to being resilient? Almost creating a new version of yourself?
I don't know if it's healthy, but it's a strong thing. And I do think there's, even at a level with, you know, lots of people write to me that have problems with lots of things. Lots of people email me, and lots, obviously less famous.
You check your emails, okay.
And I reply to regular people, so I'm just so not famous. So.
Such a pleb.
I'm totally the spa lady.
Sorry, we were hoping to interview someone famous. I don't know.
I think you need to research better.
Yeah, exactly.
Aim way higher. That's what we're agreeing.
The problem is the non-existence of truth.
Yeah, exactly. We're just
Google something and then you get all this crap.
It turns out you just get some shitty mother in the middle of shitty arse end of the planet. It's like, now we wasted our lives, our cash, our train fares. So, where were we?
So you think this creation is probably not the most emotionally unhealthy? It's probably not the most emotionally...
No, not the most emotionally healthy. I think it also can be emotionally... It can give resilience. I know, personally, it's given me... It got me through many, many things where a much more happy alternative would have probably been to stay in bed or lay down or stay in the A&E or whatever and just make myself feel better first. But I think with a lot of people that also struggle with lots of stuff that do write to me, bizarrely, I know, is that you can say, well, just bring your front face and wait for the rest of you to catch up. And sometimes I think if you've got regular jobs or you need to pay your bill or you need to turn up for your boss, bringing your front face is okay.
But then doesn't that come at the sort of expense of other people's feelings or?
Yeah, of course, and and your own. If you're feeling like a bag of shit behind the face, that's a distance. The distance between who I am and who the media think I am is also there's a distance between the face you've put on and maybe how you feel. But I think that's a truth for thousands of millions of people every day.
Do that.
Aren't there, that turning up for work who feel dreadful? But turning up.
Well, and even on a first date, we all bring a face, don't we? We always we hide behind
something.
Yeah, we always putting on something.
Even if it's being funnier than you are, or being more upbeat than you are.
Yeah, or more charming than you are. But we're all
or having a shower.
Yeah, but then
cleaner than you are. Like a fundamental. So how squeamish are you?
Squeamish?
Yeah.
Are you about to tickle me?
I'm not about to put your hand on my vagina.
I'm not that squeamish.
You're not squeamish. Give me your hand. How squeamish are you?
No, I'm not squeamish either.
Okay. So mind the hairspray, yeah.
So oh my gosh.
Do you feel that soft thing?
Whoa.
Okay, give me your hand.
Holy moly.
What's up?
So
oh my God!
Whoa! Circle, and then feel that soft thing.
Wow, the shape of your head.
That's my brain.
That's amazing. Why is it so flat?
So they went in and they chopped out a circle with like a Black & Decker. Literally is what they do. They put it on the side and then they went in and got the bit of my brain out. That obviously this is highly scientific and I appreciate it'll be at a scientific level way above your listeners. So just bear with me. Professor Hopkins' explanation of how you deal with epilepsy and neurological surgical procedures. They went in, got the bit of tumour out of my head, and then I don't have fits anymore. But then they do put the circle back on.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I did really good.
Congratulations.
I did that all myself.
Yeah, congratulations.
I basically had a fucking long sleep. It was lush. They do put the circle back on, but mine went really manky, which is like a medical term for meningitis. So they went back in and threw it away.
So they
threw it away and burnt it. Like the top of my head.
Wow.
They didn't even offer it back.
What? They didn't offer it back?
No, because I totally wanted it.
Yeah.
What would you put it in the fridge
I
or
would
something?
put it in a frame.
In a frame?
Would you not frame it?
Yeah, I think I kind of would.
You don't
Yeah,
want to go into the
definitely.
afterlife without the top of your head.
Yeah, exactly.
You might not get accepted.
That is such an Indian way of looking at it.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Katie's going to the afterlife and she's fucked.
Doesn't even have to say.
She's basically a boiled egg.
Yeah.
I would totally have it on.
I know
you'd
God
have
is
it on your
benevolent,
wall.
but no fucking way you come into my house.
Yeah.
So when I hang out with Jewish people, right, I have this weird, I'm unable to focus or concentrate in any regard because I already have a thing about detail, like the coffee mug that I was like, oh, that's like mine.
Yeah.
And then you're in my house, I realised. Jewish people have the head coverings, right? One of those would fit perfectly on my head circle.
Okay.
So when you see the dudes walking around with their little, what are they called? The things Jewish people.
Yarmulke.
I need like one of them. And just...
I think maybe it's like we don't choose our religions, our anatomy chooses.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't choose your religion based on your head surgery?
No, that's exactly how you can choose your religion.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
That would be okay?
Also, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't ask the rabbi, but...
Okay, but did you put that front on when you went in for surgery? Or were you the real, or were you, like, did that front appear before you went for surgery?
No. So in the morning of the surgery, I was really, really suddenly from nowhere. So this may be a religious thing.
Yeah.
So I was completely terrified. And I wasn't going to have the surgery, even though my life was just. So I had 2 years basically before a fit would get me. That was the prognosis, right? So in 2 years, one of those nights, a fit would get me. And so in the mornings, for 10, 12 years, I used to wake up and say, I'm still here to Mark, still here to Mum. That's the first thing I did every morning because I made it through. Anyway, so before the surgery, I was absolutely petrified. I wasn't going to have it done. I didn't have the courage. And the deficit, so the things they said you might lose was left hand, and I'm left-handed, left leg, because it was all this side of my brain, in maybe speech, maybe sight. So those are the things you could lose in return for maybe getting cured. I had no courage to have it done. But on the morning of the surgery, and I can still feel and smell all of that stuff and the colour of my thing and the stupid tights you have to wear, all of that. And I was super calm. Like, it was super fine. It was really, really, I can't explain it to you other than for the first time in months, I was super fine.
And you just felt like it was the right thing to do.
Totally fine to do. And like all of these guys coming up saying, so this is what we're doing, a team of 12 downstairs, probably 12 and a half hours worth of chucking around my head. And I felt brilliantly calm. So I feel really at peace with this whole, like, dying stuff is fine for me. It's why I talk about death quite a lot, I think. Because I think I made peace with it
a long time ago.
And so I feel like death and I think we can, like, I feel like we travel about, we could chat all right. And when people, like someone loses their mum or something, it's my age group, I guess, like a lot of people find it really hard to talk to someone who's lost their mum because they can't say, I'm really sorry you lost Margaret, or I'm sorry Margaret's not here, or I really liked your mum, she was so... People find it hard to have that, whereas actually I find that very easy because it feels like something I already
experienced, right?
thought or at least anticipated. Yeah. So I like that. I like the feeling of being comfortable with death and stuff, and I think it's a little bit why actually some of the more serious attacks on me or threats of attacks I'm all right with it because I believe I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, you just, like, since that moment you have faith in...
just
everything in general.
Yes,
faith
massive.
in the universe, right?
Faith in the universe massively, and faith massively in this. So I'm on extra time, way over extra time already, right? Because I was supposed to, 36, I was told I had 2 years. Now I'm 45. What am I? 44? 45? Don't know. Something. Definitely something like that. And so I'm on extra time. And I get it. Like, and my life now is so easy without fits and without epilepsy. And like, for a bunch of dudes in a room to get in there and fix that. So I'm really, it's all good.
How was it living knowing that it could be your last night? Is that what makes you so almost living in the moment and like noticing everything?
It gives you...
And like wanting to be expression. Like,
and then I think that's why that person that was out there in front of cameras or doing this show or that show or putting on 55 stone to prove a point that fat people are fucking lazy. I mean, craziness is almost living it twice as loud as you might otherwise because you've got to get in there quick.
And you still feel that because you're still...
Now I have it, but for a different reason because I got a new chance and I'm not scared of anything. And I guess when you've gone through, and loads of people have lived through much bigger stuff, I still have both my parents. I don't know how anyone survives the death of their parents. Actually, I
that's
really,
much scarier for me.
And it's something that we are terrified of.
Yeah, and I like my parents were here this morning, and I rang them actually earlier this morning because I have this real. I was sweeping my floor downstairs, and I was like, one day I won't be able to ring them anymore, and I just went and rang them. So that fear is, I haven't made peace with that fear at all, being left by my mum and dad. Yeah, for sure. But in terms of everything else, I feel.
But then, do you think that gives you like, liberty, or like you give yourself liberty to be this bitch or whatever in the public sphere?
I think it's no, not that so much. More, I really believe the fight I'm in. I really believe that the British nationals, German nationals, European nationals need to fight for themselves. I really believe that we need people to say what they really think and risk, and the risk is not so great. So if I am locked up, or I am black in a police cell, or I am interviewed under caution, that's fine, because there's bigger stuff.
And so this big person that you're talking about, that she's not speaking shit. She's not speaking nonsense. You still support everything she says.
Yeah, I'm with. Yeah, totally with her. Just more of a. I know I'm more back to the real person I am, because
rather
I
than
suppose
the projection.
I don't have the fits. I don't have the dislocations. I don't have the need to be chronically.
Do you think that's
so you
why
want
you're
to
still
dislocate
here?
from your persona?
No, not dislocate from it. I think just reconciling with this and it's been really healthy for me, because when I'm talking stuff, I really, it's what I can't. You can't act this stuff. You can't do it for 15 years and still be saying the same shit. You'd fuck up because you'd forget what you said.
Yeah, you must really believe it.
I really believe it, but the risk of loss for me, there's nothing that I could risk that is as significant as what I've already risked. So it doesn't matter if they come and they take my house, or they come and they take my job, or they come and take my radio show, or they come and take my newspaper. And you can't just
as long as you have this podcast.
As long as we have this podcast.
Exactly.
It's literally all been worth it.
No, but so you were saying how it just felt right in that moment. Do you think that you were still here to spread that message? Or are you here, are you still here for a purpose?
Yeah, for sure.
You've been given extra time for a purpose.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm Jesus. I know I have joked before, I'm Jesus of the outside. I'm not actually that big a twat.
Yeah.
But I feel the massive...
Wait, are you saying Jesus was a twat?
Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Can we quote you on that? I reject you. Yeah. So is that your purpose?
Yeah, I have a purpose. Every day I have a purpose, for sure. And what's really sweet, and I would never get it out to prove, but it's really sweet, the emails you get from people. I've had 5 or 10 today to say, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. You help. We can't say this stuff. You're saying it. That's really. It's only those 4 or 5 people a day, or 2 or 3 people a day, or whomever. That's enough for me. Totally.
Sorry about this.
That's fine.
This is an example of me not listening. But I just clocked that you went to bed every night for 12 years and potentially would not wake up the next morning. So,
wait, is that what it was?
Is that?
Yeah.
That's what it was?
Yeah, for sure.
So did that lead to you thinking a lot about the afterlife, or spirituality, or religion, or death, what happens?
Death in the sense of reconciling with it. Death in the sense of people who've lost people. I spent a lot of time reading of being around people who'd lost people who'd lost people in tragic situations, and the way they talk about so the person never really goes, and the sense of loss never really goes. They just walk hand in hand with their loss. So you walk hand in hand with your pain. So it was always those sorts, because it's about my children.
Yeah.
And so with my children, how do I help them not walk hand in hand with losing me? Or it might be a bloody blessed relief half the freaking time. But how do I equip them to walk without me if I'm gone? So a lot of time I've spent with the children now. So if you were to ask them, where will mum be? Mum will always be here. There's stuff I think they would repeat straight out that I've kind of drilled in. So I was drilling in stuff in case I wasn't around.
It's almost quite selfless. You weren't thinking about your own afterlife. You were thinking about
the kids. Yeah,
you were thinking about the kids' life without you.
So one of those green folders, I won't find it now because it'll be dull. But so I made a folder before I went to surgery, and it was called the death file. Well, snazzy title.
Yeah.
Like your gong.
Yeah.
With a jingle. Anyway, and it had all of everything they might need in it, basically. So it had all of their money, where their money might be, where their birth certificates, or anything that they might need after I'd gone, or Mark might need after I'd gone. It was all in there. So I'd organise stuff as well, I guess is what my point is, about thinking of people when you're gone. Yeah.
You come at it in a very pragmatic...
Well, it's only with those, you're trying to make yourself feel better, and you don't have any idea how to, other than doing, right, I'll drill into them that I will always be here. I will always be in the room just next door. She'll be in the room just next door. You know, that whole idea that someone's in the room just next door, I really believe that.
Wait, even if you leave, so then there's a... So then you have ascribed to some spirit.
Yes, yeah. So I will always say, and I believe that's true. Like sometimes when my friend actually lost her dad, I still, when I look at the window where he used to sit, he was disabled, I could still feel he's there, for sure. And my girlfriend, speaks about it sometimes, about how she can look up and feel that he's there. I really like that. And I like it for people. I like the thought of that about my parents, the idea they're still
and you wanted that to be true for your kids.
And I wanted that to be true, but not in a kind of stalky way.
No, but just in a comforting way.
Not in an oppressive way. I'm still here.
I'm always here, yeah.
But more in a, enduring some kind of way. Yeah. But I think because of that whole death thing, it means that you feel lucky, and I do always feel lucky.
And that's where you almost get your energy from, right? Yeah, you just wake up energized, right? Because you're waking up.
Yeah, and then people will write to you, because a lot of people have read maybe the chapter in the book where I do write about this stuff. And they will write about their own thing that they're doing. Maybe it is cancer, or maybe it's whatever, or even if it's splitting up with someone sometimes. And so it is like finding a way to things will always be all right.
But do you think that you that's still there, or your mother that's still there, or whatever, is that a projection, or you actually think a general kind of spiritual, metaphysical presence?
I think it's maybe it's just I'm sure the Japanese would have a really good word for it. The Japanese language has oodles of words, the Japanese language, that we don't have. Right. So it has a word for happy, sad. You know when you're happy but you're also sad? Yeah. It has a word for that. And it has gradients of thank yous. The Japanese have a way of saying a little thank you, and they have a way of saying a massive thank you.
Which I think is thank you. Yeah.
So when my brain surgeon came in after he'd cured me...
You wouldn't give him that big thank you.
And I went, thank you. And I just thought, well, that's the lamest shit-ass language we've... I was so disappointed with our language, right, at that second.
True. Yeah.
Because we've got really shit way of thanks. Oh, so whether you gave me, 50p change, or you just saved my whole world.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Maybe an uncle tickle.
Yeah. No, but she doesn't need another husband. Like, she doesn't need another husband.
So do I think they're really next door? I don't know. Or is it just the strength of the power of the memories and the impact you had when you were here, and that's the sort of like a music note resonating after the music stopped being played, like a reverberation.
Yeah. But does it even matter? Does it matter as long as you draw comfort for it?
So I guess that links back to truth as well. Then does the truth matter if the idea that you hold is comforting or serves you?
And in many ways, no.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think
in many ways, no. And that explains much religion, even if I want to criticise certain religion or whatever.
It comforts,
does it matter if that person there feels better? Yeah. Not really.
I guess if you think there's no actual truth, but you have to subscribe to something in order to live, then why not subscribe to the most optimistic?
Yeah, and the most comforting, right?
Yeah, and then same with, and this is a weird kind of, feels a bit wedged in, but like my personal view about like making 4 and 5-year-olds learn about trans, I don't want that for my children, right? But if it makes you feel better every day that you used to be Brian and now you're Belinda, I couldn't give a shit. I'm thrilled. If you feel better today, brilliant.
Do you regret not naming your kids Belinda?
Yeah, is that what it
is? Is that what this is really about?
Yeah, but also
really about I don't have Belinda in my life.
Can you make that decision for your? Can you make that decision for your kids, or do they need to make that decision?
They have to make that decision, and there's times when my son will go, we want Brexit, and I'll go, no. I don't know if you do you? That's just what Mummy says.
Yeah. So you don't enforce your views on your kids?
No, my Christ, no, my God, that would be hideous. No, but I mean, one is probably a bit like me.
And it's pretty gentle for a fascist.
Yeah, I know. I need to up my subversiveness.
Well, I didn't know fascists ate chocolate digestives.
Do it. Yeah, that's smart. Look, isn't that sweet? He even put them on a plate.
Yeah.
Do you want one? Because it's out of your reach and he hasn't offered you one.
Sorry.
Yeah, you noticed that?
Like this is what I go to for truth.
I like. Sorry.
He's 3 biscuits down.
Now you've just become my mother. This is.
I'm sorry, I don't need to show
Yeah, you just become my mother, and it's like the last 2 minutes. Yeah,
I do that as well. I do.
You mother people.
Yeah, and I sort of don't like that I do that because it makes me feel older. Actually.
Yeah, so, do you think that people that do think that you are telling the truth would be shocked that you aren't forcing your views on your kids?
Not that way round. Let's just say people that support me or like me or sometimes agree with me. Whatever how we call those people. I think they know. You would call them assholes, yeah.
Definitely assholes.
Funny and bad.
Definitely assholes, yeah.
So let's just go with people that agree with me, which we may call assholes. That I think they'd get that I wouldn't get my children to think what I think, and also like me and my kids we have quite a good laugh, so we're kind of a funny little family. But do I suspect that people who dislike me or think I'm whatever they think I am or think I'm an absolute arsehole, do they think I force my kids to think that black people are bad and Brexit's good and I don't know what opinions they think I have. All Muslims are revolting. I don't know what. But do they think I teach that to my kids? Yeah, sure. If you dislike me, you will think I teach my kids shit because that fits the
narrative,
monster,
right? It fits the narrative that we create of you.
A monster would make your kids think that shit. What's more interesting is that they can't know kids that well if they think you can make kids think something like that if you're a mum. You've got no frigging chance. I can barely get them to, bloody get up or wash their teeth some mornings. Mum's like, oh, you don't have that power as a mum. Well, at least not with my kids. But is my middle daughter looking like a version of me? Yeah. I don't mean just...
In terms of the way she thinks.
Yeah, and just if something kicks off or... Let's just say someone does something a bit wrong in the street, Poppy will she's ready to get in there. Yeah, she's
quite combative, right?
Someone, said something the other day about her boots because she had boys' shoes. She's chosen boys' shoes and someone said something, she said, these are my shoes and these are my feet and I've never asked you to wear them. Boom. And off she went and I was like, that is my daughter.
Oh my God, that's amazing. How old is she?
13.
That's a level of self-confidence that we definitely didn't have.
That's not in my others. That's just one. Another one would just run away and the other one would probably just, I don't know, do what.
Yeah. But so it's amazing that we've got you're coming across as someone who's mindful, lives in the moment. A lot of philosophies that we try to be. We try and be mindful. We try and live in the moment. And we try and be a good parent and things, but you just think
where we're all trying to just live a sort of a healthy, not healthy life. I just mean we're trying to live a life that that's copable with. Aren't we?
Trying to deal with our shit and the best way possible.
Right. I think that's where our opinions may be massively different. And all of your supporters and people that listen, I want them to keep listening to you. Would have your opinions or not my opinions. But what might be true about many of us that is the same is we're trying to cope with our shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what our shit might be very different. Like you might be an addict or you might be a attention addict, which maybe I was historically. I don't know. Okay. But we're all just trying to deal with our shit.
But I think, so what I was saying earlier is that when you come to, this very big Katie comes on to a talk show or whatever, and then says a lot of stuff which is really hurtful to a lot of people. Then, I think that's where things maybe change. Do you not take any responsibility for that? Or is there seems like sometimes a lack of empathy?
Yeah, and I think that can really happen in a condensed thing. Let's just take a sofa, for example, where I'm sat on a sofa next to, let's make it you, and you're sat there and you're 20 stone, and I say, well, no, I wouldn't employ you because you're overweight, you're fat, you'd be slow, you'd be lazy, you would frustrate me when I'm following you up the stairs, I would dislike you, right? So I'm having that chat. Yeah. That's really bloody harsh.
Well, there was a lot of things there as well. It wasn't like you just saying one thing. You just said
I think I've seen this.
You said this is a clip that happened.
So all I'm trying to say is that is visually. If you're at home, you're watching two ladies on a sofa. Visually, that's really hard because that never happens. And it's also, did I just sprinkle you a biscuit? I'm really sorry.
No, I don't know. I think that's the kind of thing you've done.
Yeah. It's how she feeds us.
In our culture, then.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's visually really hard. But those things I really mean also. I couldn't employ a fat person because I would just hate them within a day.
But do you have to say it? Why do you have to say it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was just honest to say. I was invited on to discuss that topic. I suppose if I'm sat next to the person, it's dishonest not to say it. It's more dishonest to be polite. Or not polite, that's not, because I would always be polite. And I would have been polite before and after. It would be dishonest to change my views to make them feel better It's more honest to say it straight. The dishonesty is in being false, surely.
But I think you can say like.
What about like diplomacy?
Yeah.
Well, how would you say that diplomatically?
Yeah,
you just say I just wouldn't employ you, but you don't necessarily to give tons of reasons.
If you're sat on a sofa and you're there for that interview, and you're saying I wouldn't employ a fat person, I can't not say, well, I just wouldn't employ her. Well, I don't want to give the reasons. That's not how TV works.
But the energy.
But what about the energy is very different.
It's very also. Like,
did you even
I feel
look
like
at
it's just feeding into some kind of...
no.
People are very easy.
Exactly.
And I feel like you know that.
And you're just manipulating them a little bit.
Well, I think it's a condensed version, isn't it? I think it's a similar fit me. Like, I still think all of those things. I do think fat people are lazy. I do think you can be thinner if you eat a bit less and move a bit more. Like, it's just a very basic level of thought. But if you then take this me going blah, blah, blah with my digestive sat here with you guys for a couple hours and you squeeze that into a 2-minute TV moment, that is what you're going to get is a if you think of it as cordial, it's the bloody condensed version you just got. And that feels really harsh.
The thing is that...
Really forget.
But what you're going to do is just always say what you think.
Yeah.
And there'll be, maybe in the case where... I think honesty is overrated, so I'm always more likely to be dishonest, I think.
Yes.
Whereas you would never do that. You would be honest.
I would be honest. But is you being dishonest because you're trying to be kind?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of my dishonesty comes from kindness.
So is it therefore called dishonest? Well, no. Is it called dishonesty
the thing is probably it's not even kind.
Or is it massaging of... Well, I'm just finding different words.
I think if you're actually wanting change, like I think if you call somebody fat in quite an aggressive way, then maybe they'll feel worse about themselves and they'll eat more. Right?
Yeah. Totally agree. I totally agree. And that's why now I try to do much more of... The thing I have to say is whatever I think.
Yeah.
But usually I'm trying to find a purpose or a reason or and so what thing. Like the so what question really matters. Okay, fat people are lazy. Okay, fine. So what? Like, and so that's the question I ask myself a lot. And with fat, to be fair, with the fat lady... then I did do Fat Story, where it is a bit of an effort to put a chunk of weight on and lose it again to sort of prove your point. So I did kind of back it up, but in that moment, that seemed spectacularly harsh.
Did you speak to her afterwards?
So you have remorse?
I get on perfectly fine, because you'd be nicer than before when they're really nervous about being on telly, and you're saying, it'll be all right.
It'll be fine,
It'll be fine, I've got you. And afterwards, they're pleased that it's over and you're having a nice time.
Yeah.
And also they've got this person. Oh, sorry, just touched your mic.
Also, they come across quite well. Like, you're definitely the demon.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's what, and and people are then immediately on their messages going, "You were brilliant. She was awful." So they're like,
So you're really just an altruist.
Facilitating people's happiness.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what she said. She's just playing the role of the devil because we need someone to hate.
Well,
no, but she actually believes in what she's saying.
I believe what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that just makes you a more convincing person to hate, right?
But then what about...
But she's convinced by it as well.
Yeah, exactly. She's so good that she's convinced herself. Yeah.
Maybe that's the way you can package this stuff for yourself to feel better, that there isn't actually a really relatively nice person who thinks this shit. That's more the scary thing.
That's the scary thing, isn't it? There's someone that does mindfulness and has all these views.
Wants people to feel good about their day, who emails random punters who send me their problems to try and make them feel better, who will ring someone who's been bullied at school that their dad called me and asked me to help her, who'll do those calls. Is that not more scary that woman also thinks the stuff I think, like keep migrants out,
and maybe
let the boats come? Is it not more scary for you guys that someone, whatever I am, thinks the shit I think? I think that's more scary.
Yeah, I think that
it's harder to deal with.
It is on some level, right?
Because it's more real, more relatable.
Yeah, especially because we're in your home and it's like a functioning home. You're a mother.
We're really boringly normal, as we've discussed. It's
not
a good level of celebrity.
But I think the thing is, like, also, there's it's just a lot easier to empathise with somebody in front of you rather than a refugee on a boat somewhere.
That's true.
And I think that, for me, that's where it comes down to. You can, like, there's sort of, it's easy to dislocate something, which is really just on the paper.
Having stood, on the banks of Sicily, in southern Italy, travelled with the prostitute who's prostituted over here, run by a pimp, met the guys who were all staying at the hotel on the front of the sort of harbour in southern Italy, get on brilliantly with them. As humans, we're perfect together, and we had a good laugh together when I was over there for 3 weeks tracking them. But do I agree that they should be coming into Europe? No. But can I get on with them? Do I feel really sorry for that lady? Do I still hope she's okay? Yeah, I really do. And does it really piss me off that a boat called Save the Children brought over a woman who's then prostituted when she's sick at the side of the road? Yeah, that really pisses me off. So there is a different side,
But there is that level of empathy there that maybe we don't associate with you normally. But you just own it, right?
We're not saving people when we bring them here necessarily. Sometimes we bring them over and their lives are so hideous here. They're just thrown in some freaking caravan, 15 men to a caravan, and they're working someone's shitty farm or whatever is happening to them. Yeah, we're trafficking people.
Yeah. But is there ever a point where just silence is the greatest way forward?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's such a brilliant thing. I so agree. At any time, silence is so brilliant. Even when someone's really attacking you, just silence or something calm and slow, and then silence is perfection.
But that's almost why we didn't want to come here and attack you, because it just would have been a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, it would, because I can just bring it then and then.
Yeah, and then just be a waste of a podcast. Yeah.
And which we could do, and it would also be funny. Yeah. There is funniness in that.
It would definitely... Yeah. But I guess the idea is also to not... you've obviously been sensationalized a lot.
Yeah.
But we also want to figure out, who is this person?
But then also, you can't dismiss ownership and accountability for being sensationalized.
Yeah, you said
they didn't just come up with that shit themselves.
Yeah.
It's when people say... or they blame the edit, or they blame the producer, or they blame something. Yeah, it's no, mate.
You are still
there,
saying those things.
You said that.
Yeah.
No one put those words on that tape for you. Yeah. So I don't. You never blame the edit. It's like a thing. Yeah. And if I don't like it, shut up. Yeah. That.
I feel like we've talked about a lot.
We have, especially on that last point.
Yeah.
Would you end with a dong?
No.
What's your jingle out?
I think.
Do you want to do the gong
I think
out?
we have begun to.
I'm not allowed. He said I'm not allowed.
We got to let her do the gong.
I think an hour and 20 minutes of relentless suffering is enough worthiness.
No one's going to listen for an hour and 20 minutes.
No one's going to listen anyway.
Right. Well, you might not even put it out because you have to think about what do I do?
Wait, what do we think about...
Well, he was trying to do it before.
But do we think there'll actually be negative repercussions of interviewing you? Is that something that happens?
That will happen to you, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
100%.
That's the truth. That's the objective truth.
No, the objective truth is... negative repercussion... Can I put this down? Because I feel like I'm about to do an offering or something. I'm a bit put off of my functionality right now. So what will happen? Nothing bad will happen in a physical sense. So nobody's going to come and threaten to chop your head off or that stuff. But people that you actually like, someone of them will say, guys, you really disappointed me. I won't listen to any more. This is not what I thought of you. Or something, whatever would be words that would be hurtful will happen. And if I could get a hold of them now, I would say, don't, and if this message is there for them, don't feel like that. We just had a chat and it doesn't change your friends.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, but I'm trying to cull my friends, so maybe this will be a good way to decide who actually knows me and who thinks.
Yeah, I suppose the question for them is, do we have to, if you sit with someone, does that make you a bad person? So do we need segregated transport? Is that what they want? Because that's quite a fascist idea. If you sit with me, is that bad? And if that is bad, that's... But
I don't think there's anybody from at least from an intrigue perspective that I wouldn't want to sit with.
Yeah,
maybe from a safety perspective. But if Hitler was here, I would really want to ask him, and I would want to understand all his ideology.
Where does ideology come from?
Yeah.
On the other side, and to balance this will only be one or two people. But what we do, even if 10 people told us that was really great, thank you for that, you tried really hard, or that was great, we'll still listen to the 2 people who could be unkind. And so 8 people will probably go, actually, that was quite interesting, and I didn't realise this, or some of what she said was all right. But the 2 people would be the hurtful thing.
Yeah, and they're probably more likely to contact us as well.
There will be the ones that contact you, and they will be the more hurtful.
Luckily, they don't have our email.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're too famous. But they've got mine, so they can. I could be a conduit.
Well, it's weird that you're going down this right-wing route, because you're so resilient that you could teach so many people happiness in a very healthy way.
Yeah. And I found that with the emailing that I do, and I found it with, and I'm not trying to talk about my book. I hate people that talk about the book. But with the book...
It's okay, we won't read it.
No, I don't want... Yeah, I'm not asking anyone to, but because the epilepsy chapter's in there, it was weird. It ended up people buying it. I did a thing where I would write in it for people, but people bought it for anybody that was struggling a bit. And I loved that. There was this mountain of books because people got that it could be helpful. And I would really like to do more like that. I'd love to spend time actually in schools with kids, teaching them to sort of stand up for themselves a bit. But I guess I've bitten off my own tongue. No, I've cut off my own something to spite my something. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've made it so that that's not.
And
possible.
It's almost like I think your image, your like past image, will outlive yourself.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I acknowledge.
And you almost can't reinvent yourself now as a happiness guru. Or something.
And I'm not trying to, but I just know that because of the resilience, it's a useful. And I can still do that now on Twitter and things, obviously, because I can.
And you still are providing support to people.
Yeah, and some people can come to me and they know. And they get some kind of resilience or support from stuff I do,
yeah. Okay, now you can do the gong. Now you can do the gong.
Do I just whack it?
Wait, do you want to hold it as well? Or do you want to do the really good stuff?
Yes.
So this is what the really good stuff is, like, you put it here.
And then roll it around, yeah. Is your throat feeling better? Is your
I am cleansed. Or something.
That is very cool. It is a cool gong. Yeah.
You asked for a jingle, and this is what you got.
Exactly.
Like,
I asked for a jingle, and this is what I got. Like, it's fucking nonsense.
So the easier one is like you hold it in your palms,
and then just dunk it,
and then just
dunk it
with this side of the.
Who are you?
No, you hit it on the side.
Okay. That is such a cool. Do they come in different sizes?
Yeah. So they're all for different chakras and stuff.
And then
so you have all different pictures.
I don't because.
Well, I only asked for one jingle. Money. We wanted like a proper jingle.
So you could now have a little ding.
Yeah. Once you hit it, you're meant to stop speaking though. Like after. Because it's the end of the podcast. Yeah, we'll hit it. Wait, we should say thank you. Oh. Thank you for having us.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is very good.
I think what I've noticed the problem is actually getting us to stop speaking.
Yeah. It's a nightmare.
Anyway, you'll definitely be.
You just bloody spoke again.
What?
I'm digging my donga.
When did you get my Yeah, exactly.
I'm digging my donga.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You can be the gong guy at the funeral.
Oh my god, this is.